welcome to episode 33 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all of the things Nintendo. With me I'm Kevin. I always forget to do that, even after all this time. Because, Sean, we start our other podcast differently. Sean is with me today.
Oh, Sean's here as well, yeah. Hey, Sean.
And that is Harrison.
Hey,
I'm here too.
Most unorganized intro of all time.
Yeah,
How's your Nintendo week been, fellas?
It's been busy.
Been busy.
You've been playing anything interesting?
Oh no, same game.
What are you playing? Have you gotten Olaf off the planet
Nope.
yet in Pikmin?
He's going to die there for the time being. So
There's no way you wanted to finish all 4 by the end of the year, right? You're kind of running out of time. Pikmin 4 is a long game.
well, we'll see what happens.
yeah, exactly, Sean. That's the best reaction. Just like, eh. I feel the same way. You know, it's like I was thinking just yesterday, like, wow, it's September already, and I made it a goal to be like by October to have like some games done, and and now I'm just kind of like, eh.
I think it would be fun at the end of the year, unless there's a lot of news going on or something. Maybe we could do a segment on the games we finished this year, like games we beat.
I've been keeping a list. So
okay,
we'll call it the gamies.
Okay, yeah. But I'm still doing Grandia, still grinding that Grandia. I'd say I'm over 3/4. Like, I did that thing where I looked up a walkthrough just to see where I am in the game.
Oh yeah,
because you really don't need a walkthrough for Grandia. It's like a go from point A to point B constantly. But yeah, I looked up the walkthrough to see where I am, and I am on step, I think it was 27 of 37. So almost done.
So has it grown on you more, or are you still liking the original over it?
It has. The thing is, it doesn't really do that great a job of teaching you certain things. So like the last 3 times I sat down to play, I learned more and more and more about how the magic system works by just playing with it and discuss, like, the way you unlock new spells and stuff. You basically get these points that you spend, and then I didn't realize how to level them up after that. And it's kind of a long story, but I do kind of see it, how it has a more complex system now, and I think I'm starting to like it more than the first one. Okay. But I'll give a complete review when it's done.
Sounds like
what do you got, Harrison?
Cost-effective game for the online service. I've been playing more Dragon Quest builders this. I mean, nice. like as I said, I've mentioned before, I kind of go wherever the wind takes me, or wherever. And again,
I'm usually playing 2 or 3 games at the same time, like that. Yeah, Grandia 2 is the main one right now. Last week I mentioned, I'm also playing Mario Golf, and I also booted up Mario World because I want to get this. I don't know if I've ever gotten the star next to the file name where you get if you do all the exits.
Oh,
so
all right.
I'm trying to do that. I think I've done them all. I just don't know if I've ever done them all in the same file. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I've been doing that. Just been building a lot of things. You know, during the summer, I usually get to a time where I'm watching a lot of like Minecraft Let's Plays, or just things where I'm like, oh, that looks like I want to build. I just want to build that. So I just been kind of playing, whatever I feel like, and then looking at my newer games and being like, just like the way it always is. I've also been thinking too about like games I've played in my life that I've never been able to fully replace ever, and Dragon Quest Builders is one of those games at this point, because I can't find a game that has the same mechanics and the same functions and the same story that a different game that I like has. And there's only a handful of those games in my life, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's very rare to see a perfect, I feel like at this point I'm just waiting for Mario RPG, and everything I play in between is like just filler, and that's going to be my perfect when I get to it.
I'm definitely like that might be the one other day one game that I buy from Nintendo this year, outside of Zelda, because
I already have the voucher ready to go.
yeah, because I really do want to play that immediately. And is it a $50 game or
I don't
I
remember.
think it's 60.
60?
I
That's
think
probably
it is
right.
60, and that made me think today, and I wanted to check it and I forgot to. I was like, the price point there might indicate how much it's different than the original. Like I honestly expect if we, well, we'll get into the news in a minute, but preview, I think if we do get a Nintendo Direct in September, there'll be more Mario RPG
Yeah, that
and
makes
tell
sense.
us how this is different than the Super Nintendo version, other than the graphics.
Perfect. That's a preview. So I think we get into it.
Yeah, let's jump into the news. So, probably the top story, since we're a week late on it, they had to drop this in between when we recorded and when we uploaded last week. But they had a whole Mario Wonder Direct, and I'm pretty sure you both watched it. I forgot to ask before we recorded, but sounds like you did.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thoughts? I have a lot of thoughts on this
I
game.
have
I
lots of thoughts in this
was
game. Yeah.
I was
So,
very underwhelmed by the whole presentation.
yeah, so IGN said this could be called Super Mario Brothers 4. They were raving so much about it. And the completionist on his channel, he's got a new video that says how it's the reinvention of 2D. It's the reinvention 2D Mario needed.
He played it.
And yeah, there's a few of them that I guess there was like an event where they played like a demo. And so many people talking, hyping this game up. I've heard a couple of podcasts now talk about it. I've seen other channels that have played it too. And maybe when I play it, because I am going to do it for Christmas, I'm not going to do it day one, but maybe when I play it, I'll see what they're talking about. To me, though, for them to be saying these things, I think it looks too similar to New Super Mario Brothers. And I know, yes, it doesn't look the same. I know that the backgrounds are more detailed, the character models are more detailed, but to me it looks like what the next new Super Mario Brothers game would have been on the next system. Like the one on the Wii U, New Super Mario Brothers U, doesn't look the same as the one on the DS. You know, they kept making slight steps up. So I don't know. To me, it looks so much like a new Super Mario Brothers series. And I also feel like the narrative has kind of changed here, because I'm seeing a lot of people slam the new Mario Brothers series now, where when that first came out, people were talking about that like they are now talking about this, saying
Mhm.
like, "Oh, it's what 2D Mario needed, and it was such a good step forward." And now it's like they're turning their back on it and being like, "Actually, they just kept copy and pasting the same game, and we don't, this is the future, and that was a mistake." And I don't know. Those are some quick thoughts I have. I've been talking for a minute. Let me get you guys' thoughts.
I I mean, I am pretty excited about this game, but I think the most important thing that I can say is that after watching the trailer, I realized like I think I'm always going to be just lukewarm about any 2D Mario game. It's like I feel like I can only get so excited about games like this because it's just not a genre that I play very much anymore, and I've kind of just moved away from. But there are certain things that make me pretty excited about it, but the number one thing I'm worried about is the replayability of it. Um
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I'm
Well,
right with you.
the badges
well,
seem like they're going to help with that though, because I feel like they're going to make every play style a little different.
right.
So that should be at least something that helps
Right.
with replay.
Well, that's one of two. That's one of the two things that I'm really excited about because I think the badges might be this collectible that I'm going to want to get all of at some point. But are the badges a Paper Mario mechanic? Is that from Paper
Yeah.
Mario? Yes.
Yes. Yep. They are. I don't know if they're going to function well, this is a platformer, so they won't function exactly the same way. But I don't know if you'll be able to like if I remember correctly in Paper Mario, each you have badge points, and each badge costs a different amount of points. So basically, you can equip multiple badges. You know what I'm saying? Like, say you have 8 badge points, you can do 2 4s or
Mm.
4 2s or whatever. Um, so yeah, each one's worth badge points. It seems like this is just going to be like you can only equip one badge at a time, but we'll see.
See, the badge thing disappoints me because they're really, oh, this is the biggest roster we've ever had.
Right.
But then they said, well, we took away everything that made each character unique. So I know the badges are like there to offset that, but you have no reason to pick different characters now because you don't have a
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just going
flutter
to play
jump
as Luigi every time.
or
There's
a
no reason not
float
to.
or anything. So I that just doesn't make sense to me to take that out.
And I don't know. I just to reharp on how this looks so similar to New Super Mario Brothers as far as the visuals go, for how much people are saying this is like a new start and something completely different. I started thinking about games that actually kind of did that, and I was thinking like Yoshi's Woolly World and Kirby Epic Yarn. That is an art style that is completely unique to that. That is its own thing. They could have done something like that. They could have done something. These were just like quick ideas I had that I jotted down. I didn't put too much thought into this, but they could have done something cool like in Super Paper Mario where the perspective flips to be behind you, so you like do side scrolling for a little bit, but then you can flip and it's kind of like you're walking down a hallway from a 3D point of view.
Well, I really liked the perspectives, some of the perspectives in the Wonder Forms. Like they showed one
Yeah,
in the trailer where all of a sudden you're like top down, and I was like, oh, like that is actually
but it's still like it's still flat 2D,
it's
and it's still in that art style.
sure,
So am I
I'm just
sure.
crazy, or does it not seem like they're focusing on the wonder mechanic as much?
yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Because
They
to
just kind of
me,
because I think they want to keep that a secret, because I've heard them saying so many things about how many ideas they came up with for that I think they really want us
I'm
to like
I'm hoping
experience it
that's the
when we're playing.
case. Because from the direct, it's like, so it's called that, but it's not really a
It was right at the
main
very end.
factor.
Yeah, it was.
No, I think they're just keeping it because they want us to experience it when we play the game. I could be wrong, but I think that's going to be the main takeaway.
And I
I mean, it's
feel
in the
like
title of the game, just like you said.
they've run out of power up ideas because when the video has to be like, you can use the classic fire flower.
I
Okay.
but I must say I think the bubble power up is so cool. Like I think it's so cool that you can shoot them and then platform off of them, and they'll also like they'll drift. And a weird thing about this direct, it's like when they wanted to show off some of these mechanics, like
I thought the drill head was really cool.
yeah,
They did that in Galaxy though.
Yeah, the I
So
feel like they've done something similar to Bubbles too,
I don't
even though
know.
it
To
does.
me,
I
none
might be
of it.
thinking of Mega Man because there is Bubble Man and Mega Man, and
That's what it
there's
felt
that.
like to me. Is when you get later in Mega Man, and it's just like, Slinky guy or whatever.
right.
Like they ran out of ideas for Robot Masters, and I feel like they've hit the wall now. I mean, the elephant thing is interesting, but I don't know. Everything else, like the drill, you were able to do that in Galaxy. The
And
bubble,
that's why I hate people dumping on new Super Mario Brothers, because remember how much people loved the new power-ups then?
yeah.
And we're like, oh my god, you can be like this giant Mario and stomp through things. And like
Sure.
I remember a lot of hype being around that first one.
Sure.
And I think that again, I know I sound more down on it than anyone else, but is it just weird Bowser wants to be a castle? Like I feel like that's the strangest
Yeah.
thing they've ever done with Bowser
It,
now.
it is
There once
weird.
was a man who lived as a house.
Yeah, it is weird, but I gotta say, like, I really like, I really appreciate what they're doing with the Bowser character recently. I mean, like, yes, this is kind of, it's very strange in Mario Wonder, but between like trying to do something new and Bowser's Fury and Mario movie, like, I'm really happy with where that character is because something that that feels off about this game is the characters that are actually available in this game, and some of the enemies that are featured in the game as well. It's just it feels a bit off.
Well, the enemy thing is sort of because they're in the flower kingdom instead of the mushroom kingdom. That was I thought kind of a cool concept that everything is kind of different.
Yeah,
It's like,
if
but not completely. Like you still have your standard piranha plants and stuff, so it's not completely different.
yeah, and they have and how do you say it, Lakitus or yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I actually think I think a positive that I could say is that I think there is a good mix of old and new enemies, but why we have four Yoshis, why we have two Toads and one Toadette, um,
Yeah.
it's just like why don't we only have two other female characters that are Daisy and Peach? Like it just seems like it just seems a bit strange. Um, and
Yeah, I'd agree.
and I think this direct showed me that Nintendo is completely punting on any sort of Mario Online co-op. Like
Oh yeah.
I think this direct is showing us that like, hey, we'll add it, but we're done trying. I mean,
And that's another thing I saw in the people who played its reviews were like, "Oh, they're complete. This is like the best Nintendo online co-op ever, and it like redefines what co-op should be."
that might be
And I'm
true.
like, how much hype? How much of this is hype, and how much of it is real? Because it feels like a lot of it is hype.
Okay,
A
so
lot of it feels like hype to me because it's like, all right, you like racing in Mario Kart, right? You guys can race through the levels. You're kind of playing together, but you're not.
and
And I'm like, oh,
And it's so hard to just keep saying all these negative things too, because I do feel like it's a game I'm gonna like. I feel like they're praising it too much. Like it's the first thing I said. Like it should be Super Mario Brothers 4. And it's like it's not on that level, guys.
I don't have a good analogy for it, but outside of Splatoon, which is sometimes not that great, what like saying it's the best Nintendo Online experience is nothing to brag about. Like I don't have a good analogy for that, but like that's you're basically saying it's the best experience of the worst thing that Nintendo. Um, and yeah, but still, like I do have positives, like the enemies. Um, I mean, yeah, like I like some of the characters in it. Is Seven Worlds right? You think?
I'm sure there's a secret eighth world or something.
Yeah,
I can't see there
Yeah.
not
They
being
usually
one.
have 8, I think you're right.
yeah, because that.
I was happy that you can turn the talking flower off.
Oh
Why is
yeah.
everyone saying that? That's one of the only things I liked. I'm leaving my flowers on.
Well, good
Oh
luck with that because that annoyed me just in the direct.
oh, I will tell you, my favorite part is Yoshi's face when he eats something and he has that like it's almost that smirk. I don't know. It was posted a lot on Twitter. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. But um, that was my favorite part. And with that, I think yeah, like this is going to be a tough $60 game for me because I'm worried that if I'll play it once and be like, you know,
And I'm right with you. Like, it doesn't seem to have replayability that genre usually has.
yeah,
All right, real quick, here's my pitch for my idea for a game that actually would have been completely different, like they're acting like this is. Uh, so I thought about this week and I posted it. Do a, and it's probably because of Mutant Mayhem that I thought of this. It sort of has a look like this. Do a Mario game that has like a claymation art style. It's like Clay Mario instead of Paper Mario.
Oh, it would be
And
like that cover of Nintendo Power.
exactly, that's what I posted. Yeah, do it as a tribute to the original Nintendo Power cover and have two things in the game. Have like vehicles like they do in I don't think Mario's had that much since Super Mario Land. And in Land you got like it was still side scrolly, but it had those cool vehicle levels, and let us customize the look like you could do in Mario Odyssey. Get them out of
Yeah.
the overalls, you know?
Mhm.
That would feel like a different game with a different look and a different art style all its own. But to me, I'll say it for the last time, it really does just look like an updated new Super Mario Brothers. It doesn't look as completely different as everyone is acting, at least in my eyes. And I don't know, maybe the Wonder Seeds will change that when I'm playing, and they're, like Sean said, they haven't shown us a lot of that yet. So maybe that's what people are reacting to. We'll find out. Any other thoughts on that before we move
I
on?
I
I
mean,
just think it's funny that all the outlets talk about it like it's like going from Super Mario World to Mario 64, like levels
Yes, that's what
of,
I'm saying. Yeah.
and it's
I'm
like,
glad you agree. I'm glad I'm not crazy,
no,
because this has
I
been in my
mean,
head for a while.
it's it's something sort of new, but it's not like they completely reinvented it and went, "Whoa, wait a minute, what if we did this?"
I feel like
So
they're saying it more like it's going from Super Mario World to Super Mario Galaxy. Like they're they're acting like it's that big a jump, and it's like, oh, okay,
man, we got so many good clips today of when this game releases, and it's like the best Mario game of all time. Um,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
I keep saying
exactly.
exactly, but I'm just so glad that I'm not
Yeah.
crazy, because I've been on the internet and everyone's just talking about how amazing this game is. So
Well,
thank you
well, actually,
guys.
the last quick point I'll say, it's more of a question though. Like, I would really like to see their level selection get changed in a way, but I hate to bring that up almost because I don't have an idea. I don't have an idea of what that would
Yeah,
look like. So, I mean, do you? Because I feel like the level selection could be something when it's like, you know, it's like you just going
yeah,
from
I
this
don't
place to this
really
place.
have much. It seems like they're going for what they did in 3D World, which I kind of like, but if they're gonna do that, I feel like they need to put more things on the level select
yeah,
world, like more hidden things that you can find, because otherwise wandering around serves no purpose.
right.
It's like getting
Yeah,
you're just getting to the next checkpoint in more of a drunken way.
exactly.
You're just stumbling around. All right. So this week, Nintendo released Pikmin
Oh
Finder,
yes.
a browser game.
Oh, that's cool.
They quietly introduced Pikmin Finder without much fanfare. It's a browser game that allows players to continue their quest for these charming little Pikmin. And
I
sorry, my notes are not there. Okay.
I just gotta say I'm so happy that this was the next point that you wanted to talk about. Just because I can just get my negativity out now between the last segment and this segment and just be done with it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
what
if this is your first episode of Nintendo therapy, this is how this is therapy for us, and we don't hate on everything, we promise.
this is just ridiculous. Like, and this is related to the critical things I would say about Mario Wonder. Like the fact that like the same company that brings us uh Pokemon Go, which is huge still, and Pikmin and the Pikmin series and Pikmin 4, which has been this great game, they release a web application, not even in the iOS store, but a web application that uses AR, that in the videos that I watched don't even work because a lot of phones don't have like the right depth finders. So the Pikmin are just going through the walls or floating around, and
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised there aren't 100 games like this after how successful Pokemon Go
well,
was. It's kind of weird that it took them this long to do like a
but
Pikmin style
but
one, even though I know they're a little
but why
different. But
not
yeah,
make a Pokemon, like why not spend money to make a Pokemon Go game of Pikmin, a Pokemon Go game of
yeah.
Animal Crossing? Like it doesn't make sense, Nintendo. Like why is Nintendo in 2023 putting out website forums and web
Hmm.
applications that that
Oh
that,
yeah, I
that
forgot
like
that news
that like
story.
no one has heard about and no one is playing, where there's opportunities that everyone would play it. So like i'm I'm basically just done. Like Nintendo, when it comes to anything online, you guys are like in the Stone Age. You're like 20 years behind. I don't get it.
I mean, I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. All I really had to say on the matter is I'm surprised they don't have 100 of these at this point. Like Pokemon Go was so successful, and like you said, they could do it for so many other things. There's so much potential in that augmented reality technology for just like something that you do in your spare time when you're on your 15-minute break at work or something.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't get it. But like, perhaps I'm different. But I just don't think like people are going on to websites or people are like going on to like web applications and opening up a web browser and like loading up an application. Like, no, I think people are just pressing a button on their phone. Like, I don't. So,
Yep.
I don't get like that. If I could be the most critical about something, like I love Nintendo, but their decisions just don't make sense sometimes. So that's all. And I guess to end this all, it's not a big deal. Like in reality, it's not. It's not really a big deal either way. Like you might have not even heard about it.
Well, here's some good news. Nintendo Switch added what is
Four.
this? 5
Oh,
games to the online service this
4
week.
games.
so I found that
So-
out this morning when I turned it on. It's like updating. I'm like, what? So,
Yeah, it's I love that they're constantly updating this Switch online with no rhyme or reason. Like it's just like it's a surprise every time. It's not like you're waiting for a specific day. You know what I mean?
Isn't it one Super Nintendo, one Game Boy, two Nintendo?
yeah, but it's quite an interesting
It's 3.
selection.
What 3 for
It's 3
The
Nintendo.
games are the games are as follow. Yeah, 3 Nintendo. You got Kirby Star Stacker for
Uh-huh.
Super Nintendo. For the NES, you have Joe Mech Fight, Downtown Neketsu March, and Super Awesome Field Day.
Wait, Kevin, isn't Downtown Aketsu March Super Awesome Field Day one title?
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. I'm almost positive because on yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You can take this out if you want. But anyways, but
I'm going to Google it right now because that's important for the randomizer.
sure, yeah, sure, and you can cut this out too. But
It is one. That's one title. I thought that was 2
that's
games.
okay. So 3, right? Correct. 3 out of the 4 are Japanese only released.
Which is good
Yeah.
because I want to I hope they get encouraged to do more import type stuff.
And
So
go ahead.
I like that there was yet another Kirby game that hadn't been
That's
released.
that was my joke, Sean. I wrote down another block stacking Kirby game. Like we don't have enough of those.
I think the Game Boy edition's my favorite though, because I want to know the conversation that led to that.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick for sure based on the cartoon. Is that a
The-
Disney cartoon?
The
Yeah.
animated movie from Warner Brothers that no one remembers.
And I never knew this until yesterday. There was an N64 game that was planned, but it was scrapped due to how bad the movie was. And I was like, and the game as well, because the Quest for Camelot game got bad reviews as well.
But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the fun thing about the service to me is it's like, all right, let's bring over some Japanese stuff that didn't get released in the West. All right, cool.
Yep.
Cool. What about some Pokemon for Game Boy? No. Quest for Camelot.
Yeah.
So I guess I get why Pokemon fans can get.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's another adventure RPG, right? But yeah, I never knew they had a second one planned, and
I didn't know about this one, but I forgot about the movie until this appeared on my Switch, and I went, "Oh yeah, that was a thing." So
yeah, and apparently the movie was so bad, but the game was also bad. So like, why don't you just say like, hey, the first game wasn't so good. You know, we're done.
someone's happy. So
I would say, like, out of all these games, I watch some videos on them. I would say is it Joy Mech Fight? I think that one looks to me the most interesting because
Yeah, that looked
you
fun.
can you can toss them, or you can like toss the robots or the mechs around, and I would say, and then the other ones, it's like, yeah, it's a nice variety.
So Nintendo also revealed this week some new Switch bundles that are coming out in October of this year, so next month.
Oh,
This made me wonder if they're trying to do this to help them reach that goal of being the best-selling system of all time, because keep in mind they'll still be selling Nintendo Switch after whatever the next system is, and PlayStation 2 they supported for like 10 years. It's like a crazy amount of time if you look it up. So they could make it there. It's looking like it's losing steam, so it might not, but I don't know. Well, it's in the top 3, so good for them. But anyway, the
what
the
are
the
these
bundles,
bundles?
yeah, the bundles they're putting out in order to help them be the best-selling system. There's another Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle that comes with the full game download plus 3 months of Nintendo Switch Online membership. It's got a neon red and neon blue Joy-Con controllers, a download code for Mario Kart 8, and a 3-month individual membership on Nintendo Switch Online. Doesn't say if it doesn't look like it has the expansion pass though. So yeah, it says a suggested retail price of $299.99. So it's a savings of about $70, 67, 68, $68.
They haven't bundled that game enough, so
It's a holiday. It's a
We
holiday tradition. I mean, it's a perfect holiday bundle for like the normie. You know.
If you don't want that, they've got some Animal Crossing Switches for you. So Nintendo Switch Lite Isabella Aloha Edition, Animal Crossing New Horizons bundle. So it comes with the full game download of Horizons, and also Nintendo Switch Lite Timmy and Tommy's Aloha Edition comes with New Horizons as well. That's going to be out October 6th. I didn't say they're both out October 6th.
To to me, like this one is so bad. I said
It's Target versus
yes.
Walmart. Did you see that?
That's
One is Target exclusive, one is Walmart
I think
exclusive.
that's the worst part. I mean, because it's
Yeah.
considering that it's this is going to be like more of just like an American thing, but also like it is so. I'm sorry, I'm going to do it again. It's so lame that they took the original two of the original 3 colors of the Switch Lite, and they just put some stickers on them. Basically, they just put some leaves on them and then just are rolling it out. Like couldn't you give us more color variants of the Switch Lite? And also like you're releasing a a a, a a Switch for a game that was abandoned like over 2 years ago as well. Like,
Do either of you buy these variants? Like, obviously not every one, but like,
no.
have you seen a variant that you're like, I want that one?
the Switch Lite Pokemon versions have been awesome. I don't like. I don't know if I would own one, but just like the black color and like there's actual effort put into those. Where this one looks like it looks like guys, like we got a new system coming out. We got all these Switch Lights just hanging out, like they're not going anywhere. Throw some
Throw
throw
some
some stickers
stickers
on
on
them,
them.
like make it Animal Crossing, and then just send it out. Like they could have even given us the original Animal Crossing Switch colors, like
Yeah.
like the blue and green. But it just seems like it just seems very lazy at this point.
I'm not opposed to getting these. I just haven't seen any. I was really ready to get the Tears of the Kingdom one, and then they revealed it, and I thought it was super ugly. So that one was a miss for me. And now at this point, there's so many rumors for the Switch 2 that I'm not going to get it now because I'm like, well, I could save my money. I got a new system coming. I feel like the window is closed now on me getting a fancy Switch.
We didn't even talk about the Mario Switch OLED during
Oh
during the
yeah,
Mario Direct, and
that's another one for them to grab the record.
it's not completely red, right? Like I don't think the back of it is red. If I'm wrong, then correct me. But uh,
I remember I had the coins. I'll fact check that for you real quick.
but I think that's a pretty cool variant because we don't have that many.
They're all showing the front.
We only have like a few different colors of the dock.
Yeah.
So that's a cool one, I guess.
Yeah, I can't see the back, and I'm not gonna waste airtime here
Yeah.
searching.
So anyways, yeah, movie switches out during the holidays, so we can get the new system in, next year. It seems like because that's
Well, speaking of the new system, there's some Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, or as we call it around these parts, the Virtual Boy Color. So, known video game leaker Amahiro2 has posted on Reddit to clarify some points which were originally posted by an imposter. He says that Square Enix have had the Nintendo Switch 2 development kits for a while now and are bringing Final Fantasy VII Remake to the upcoming system. Again, this is in our rumors section. This isn't confirmed. He also says that the platform's very powerful, backwards compatible with a few games tested. The console uses new cartridges, which is obvious. It's not going to use this, which are presumably bigger, so they don't even know. That's his words, not mine. And the system has a new camera feature, which I've seen multiple people reporting this rumor as well. Not necessary, Nintendo. I never once used my camera on my 3DS or my DS. Anyway, we have phones now. We don't.
well. I say we change it from the what do you call it? The Virtual Boy Color. I say we change it from the Virtual Boy Color to the Switch 3DS now, or or or
Yes,
something.
that's a good
Because who
point.
knows? This next Switch could be dual screen. It's going to have camera. It might have
It would be cool if it
dual.
had that 3D screen.
It could very well have dual slots for your Switch and your Switch 3DS games. So I think that would be that would work. I think this is a pretty nice, pretty big rumor if true.
I'm just already dreading how they're gonna try to force that camera into
Games.
gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want. And for the love of God, Nintendo, if it's not too late, give us a good controller this time. Now, I'm a Nintendo fan, not a Nintendo expert, but I have to say the last 3 systems have all disappointed me as far as controllers go. I haven't had a controller I love since the GameCube from you guys. Please, please don't make me buy a pro controller. Give us a good controller with the system. That's my piece.
I
Who's with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm thinking more of just like Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be over 4 years old by the time a new console is released. So
Yeah.
my question then is, does that feel significant at all?
I mean, I've almost platinumed that game. I have like 2 trophies left, and I've just like, I got tired of it's not even that they're too hard to get. I just like had played through the game so many times at that point to get those trophies that I was done with it. So I guess what I'm saying is it's not doing anything for me either way. So no, I don't think I'll be buying it just to have it on a Nintendo system. But I mean, there might be someone out there that appeals to, especially having it portable. Because that's another rumor, is that this is another portable system.
I'm kind of torn. Like it is going to be a 4-year-old game, but I feel like this is another title that was exclusive on PlayStation that will be coming over to Switch, and um,
And then what are they going to do about the follow-up game? Are they going to put that on the Switch 3?
well,
You know,
I don't.
like,
I'm not even so sure about that. Yeah, I just don't know. I think like if Final Fantasy VII remake, if that can be, if that could possibly be a launch title for a new system, I think that's really significant. And like I looked up like when Final Fantasy VII remake released in 2020, like given like this is the start of COVID as well, PlayStation 4 sales skyrocketed in Japan.
Yeah.
And what and Switch is just killing it in that country. What will that mean if once again another game and we already have Final Fantasy games on Nintendo, but if another big game comes to the system, what does it mean more for PlayStation in Japan? You know, I think I think it's something and not nothing. I think.
Oh yeah, there will definitely be people that this is a selling point for. I'm just not one of them.
Me neither.
I've played the heck
Yeah,
out of that
yeah,
game.
and me neither. But I think I think it's cool, and they said it's going to be an easy port. And if we're gonna have like PS4 level games on a new system, then
That's actually part of the rumor here. I wasn't going to read that part, but he said something about how it runs. The new system seems to run as well as a PS4 or something.
yeah.
Duh.
I mean, there's been lots of talks about what PlayStation is doing lately, and like if PlayStation could come out with a portable system that was like a PS4, I mean, how well would that system?
Oh, this says PS5. That's interesting. It's obviously not going to be that powerful. But he said it looks like a PS5 game on the Switch 2 dev kit. But dev kits aren't always final product, so
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, or on a smaller screen, it looks like that. Or, yep.
Exactly. So 2 more rumors to get through this week. This is a big week for lots of different topics. New Sonic game for next year, along with Jet Set Radio, Comic Zone, and new Guardian Heroes. These all come from that same leaker, I'm a Hero 2, that brought us the Final Fantasy VII news. So let's break those apart individually. I know you were looking for some more Jet Set Radio action. So this has got to have you
Yeah,
excited, Harrison.
I mean that's the one that sticks out for me, and it's about time. Yeah, I mean that's all I feel like it's about time. I think.
And it's a new one too, not like a port, at least according to the
Yeah,
rumor.
yeah, and I wonder if they were looking at the numbers that Bomb Rush Cyberpunk was doing and was like, oh, we're gonna if that indie game is doing this, then you know. So yeah, like I'm interested in seeing the world, the environment. Is it gonna have like again like those Y2K vibes to it? Um, we'll, we'll see.
I'm excited for Comic Zone because that was always a
Yeah.
game I wanted to get into, but it's like got such a high difficulty level on the original that I think if they're making a new one, it'll have some, what are those called when you do like modern improvements?
Quality of life.
Quality of life improvements. Yeah. So, I mean, we're just spitballing and speculating here, but if it's a new Comic Zone game, it's not crazy to imagine it would now finally have a difficulty setting like the Shredder's Revenge game did, which was a recent beat 'em up in that kind of art style.
I'd
So,
just be happy to see that come back because that was a really cool game.
and Guardian Heroes I've never played, so
Yeah.
that's my least. If I had to rank them in terms of excitement, Comic Zone, Jet Set, Guardians.
New Sonic is significant for sure. I mean,
That too, yeah. We're completely blowing past that. You're right.
I mean, Sonic Forces was 2017, so it's been a really long time since a mainline Sonic game. That game,
Didn't they just put one out though,
well,
or is coming out with Wonder? They
well,
have
Sonic Frontiers. Well, I didn't call that a mainline game. I guess I guess you could, but I just thought it was something different, perhaps. But Sonic Frontiers, in my opinion, had pretty mixed reviews, and the sales were not that great. Whereas Sonic Forces 2017 had fairly positive reviews and sold fairly well. So I think perhaps more of a return to the mainline games is something that would be big in 2024.
Sonic's a franchise I don't really know enough about. Like I just said, I kind of know they have a new one coming out with on the same day as Mario Wonder, but I've never been that into that franchise. Probably my Nintendo upbringing. I don't know, but I kind of like Sonic 2. I like Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, Sonic Adventure 2. And other than that, I haven't really played a whole lot of Sonic.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I had grown up with it, like if I had Genesis and I had played Sonic from back then I'd probably be more into them.
I played I maybe about 10 hours of Frontier, and it was a game that I was really looking forward to, but ultimately I just I couldn't get into enough. I just couldn't finish. But yeah, very very heavily inspired by Zelda in that game. Just yeah,
Really?
well,
Yeah, I played the demo.
the environment. The environment is definitely
Oh
inspired
yeah,
by
I know what you're
that,
talking about. I remember which game
but
that was now.
but after buying it, playing it, I never I never felt that connection to it, which is fair because I think I'm more like you guys, where I played some of the Sonic games and it's just not something I was that into. It felt empty. You know, it felt very empty.
I bought I just remembered I bought Lost World on the Wii U. You remember that one?
Hmm.
It was supposed to be like a
Vaguely.
it was, I remember that one, when we talk about hype versus reality, that one was hyped at the time of its release as being like a new starting point for the Sonic franchise, as I feel like they've
Many
done
times, many
10
times.
times by now. Yeah. But I liked it. I don't think I finished it, but I do remember it was kind of cool. It was, a 3D Sonic game that didn't have a ton of bugs in it, so that's a plus.
Was this same person the one that did the Persona rumors as well?
I don't know. I just have the two that I put in the notes here. I'm not familiar with their name.
Oh, but you wrote something about that, right? Because I did, but not, I didn't write down the source. Were there
Oh no, I don't have anything about Persona.
were
You can talk
there
about it.
or was there speculation about when they're going to release Persona? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's here. I see where it is. It's part of the same leak. You're right. Uh, Persona 6 is a bit further away than last time I updated. I don't think it's making 2024. So yeah, this is the same I'm a Hero 2 leaker. He had like bullet points further down the
Oh,
article of different things he was
well,
leaking,
well,
and that was one of them. Persona 6 is not going to make
well.
2024
That one doesn't seem.
according to
Yeah,
him. This
that
is a
one doesn't
rumor.
seem okay. Well, all right, because like the last, I mean, Persona 5 came out a while ago now, but I mean, we're getting Persona 5 Tactics in November, and then the remake for 3 comes out in February next year. So I thought it was like, yeah, we're not going to get another Persona game in 2024, right? Uh,
And they also leaked that there's another Persona game being worked on that is apparently a party game.
Okay.
okay.
Going to compete with that Mario Party. And one more rumor, one last thing, and it's the one that it's kind of just always out in the rumor sphere. There's another Nintendo Direct rumored soon. There's always one rumored soon. Portuguese website Universo Nintendo, which has apparently gotten leaks correct in the past, has, broken clocks right twice a day type thing. Um, yeah, they're saying between September 11th and September 15th, Nintendo's going to have a direct, which is more just the
Sure
whole
they are.
internet is guessing this at some point. The whole internet is like, well, they usually have one in September. And I just remembered last week, Harrison, I think it was you, asked what's the likelihood, and I said we have to see what this Mario one is first. And since that Mario one barely had any information on anything else, I now believe this. Yeah, I think there is going to be a direct
I think
at that
so.
point.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get some, like I said at the beginning of the episode, some more news on Super Mario RPG, because at that point, that game's only going to be 2 months away.
Yeah.
We'll get more. Nah, they'll probably go light on the Mario Wonder since it got its own direct. But we'll get a bunch of news of about 100, not 100, like 5 PlayStation games that are getting ported over. That's in like every direct, stuff like that.
Yeah. RPGs, farming sims, DLC, web applications,
Available now on Switch Online.
Kevin, the last piece of news that I had was the news about the Tears of the Kingdom DLC, or the news of the lack
The
lack of
thereof.
Tears of the Kingdom DLC. So, how do you say his name? Aonoma?
No idea.
He said,
Yeah, I
in
think that's
an interview, and I'll read it translated. He says, there are no plans to release additional content this time, but that's because I feel like we've done everything we can to create fun in that world. I don't believe this, because I mean, Nintendo likes money, and you're not going to give us at least a $20 expansion pass where we have
I'll do you one
master mode.
further. I think Nintendo's the exact type of people that will say this and then a week later drop a direct that's focused on the Zelda DLC.
Do the exact opposite. Yeah, I totally agree, but I have a hard time believing that they're not going to at least give us $25 where we get master mode, we get a few different clothing items, and I forget if Hero's Path, like, that's kind of utilized in Tears of the Kingdom, but like perhaps no DLC this time. But I think it's going to be something that is going to be still technically be DLC. But I mean,
I'm just optimistic that maybe they don't this time, because that was such a waste of money for me on the last game.
I liked it.
I didn't play it. So.
I played it enough for the two of us, because I played it in my file and my wife's file, and I played it again in my file. So I went through that DLC 3 times.
I went through it a few times, but like this time around, I don't know if it would be for me either. But like, I mean, it's hard for me to believe. And pretty soon, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom combined is going to be over 50 million units. They are less than a million away at this point. 18.6 million units sold so far of Tears of the Kingdom, which is more than half of what Breath of the Wild sold. So I have a hard time believing that they're done. But I mean, guys, listeners, like, it's your time to speculate right now. If they're done and they're focused on a new game, what that's going to be. Like, are they going to keep the same formula in a different world, which is my prediction, or are they going back to a more Zelda formula, as I'll say?
I want them to, but I don't think they will. They've said, actually, I think there was like somebody who said recently that
I think this is going to be the format,
the norm. I want to toss this idea out there because I did this recently, or last year, if that's recently. If you're wanting to get some more bang for your Breath of the Wild buck right now, and for some reason you're not playing Tears of the Kingdom, I did a playthrough where the first thing I did the four divine beasts, and then did the DLC and got my motorcycle. So all that was left to do in the world was just wander the world with my motorcycle and do shrines and Korok seeds. So it was kind of fun. Turned it into just a do whatever you want type of game.
So
with a motorcycle.
So yeah, we'll see. But Tears of the Kingdom sales are still doing really good. But this might be the end of at least this version of the world, which feels right. I think. Like I don't think they're gonna be doing away with the open world or like any of these new physics or mechanics, but we might get a new engine or a new version of Hyrule next time. So on a new system, of course, as well. So
Well, hopefully they at least do that. Hopefully they at least switch the world up.
Yeah, I think they'll do that at least.
And now moving on to the Spotlight game. This week, the randomizer chose NES Nightshade, which came out. I couldn't find a Japanese release date. I don't know if it has one, if it's was just worldwide, but North America it said January 26, 1992. So released the same month as Golden Axe, which we did last week.
This game is the biggest. Like I messaged you about this yesterday. The biggest mystery of any of the games that I've had to research ever. And I felt like this was like old internet for me because I mean I was going on retro games, I was going on digital press forums, I was going on the Wayback Machine just to try to find information on this game, and I can't find anything. Go ahead.
I think for any legitimate criticism people have for this game, its biggest failure is just in releasing way too late in the NES's lifespan, and I think that's why a lot of people missed it. The Super Nintendo is only months away at the point this game releases. Maniac Mansion on the NES, which had a huge cult following, had already been out for 5 years when this dropped. And they're very similar games, so I think that is its biggest flaw, is it just chose to release for some reason way at the end. It should have been a Super Nintendo game, I guess is what I'm saying. They should have just waited, developed for the new system. Imagine if this had been a launch title for the SNES, more polished. I think it would have had a huge cult following if that were the case.
I'm just amazed, like, this is the first game where I can't find like any reviews, like any initial reviews. Like I can't find any sales numbers. You know, like we can't,
yeah.
You know, it's just there's not a lot of information out there. So, wait, what's the game you just said?
Maniac Mansion.
Did that game control better than this game? Because, like,
I don't
It's
remember.
been a while, but I think it
because
did.
This is more motivation for like why I hope they have Shadowrun on Super Nintendo, because that's also a game I haven't played. And honestly, Nightshade, perhaps it's the week I've been having. I didn't have the right amount of patience for the
And yeah, you're right though. The controls aren't that great, and more to my point, if they had made it a Super Nintendo launch title, they would have had more buttons to work with on that controller.
Yeah.
We have more buttons now. But
they can't add stuff to the game from 1992.
But you could make the cursor better. Like you could
Yeah.
give us options to change the sensitivity. You know, like
I don't think that's what Switch Online wants to do. I think a lot of it is in preserving the exact way it would have played on the original.
And I'll give them credit too. Outside of Steam, Nightshade is not ported anywhere, so I will give them credit for that. But I just like between the interface and the scrolling, and not knowing if I needed to use like the use button or the inspect button. It's like there was just times where I don't know. I felt frustrated this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to play it. I just got out of where you were trapped, and then I kind of wandered around the city, and was like, okay, I think if I'd played this at the time it came out, I would have got really into it. But playing it for this, I was just like, it's just kind of a weird oddity. It's cool that they tried this, but yeah, I mean, you gotta hit select to get to a menu and then figure out like Yeah, it's very confusing as far as it's pretty much try every icon on everything you can interact with and hopefully something works.
I watched a Let's Play. It wasn't even a speed run, and they did the full game in about an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty
I don't
sure.
think it's necessarily like a long game. You just like
Yeah, as
you
long
just
as you
need to
know what to do.
What to do. Like, I forget the YouTube channel, but he's really good. I think it's called like "You Can Beat This" or something. But like he has like an hour-long video just on strategies on how to get out of like the death traps. Like he does the death traps in the beginning to show you those, and then goes through like the entire 100% of the game. But there's
Yeah,
a lot.
I died in the death trap.
Yeah, well, it's pretty easy to die. At least I thought in the first death trap, at least I think it's pretty easy to just like have the permadeath. I give this game a lot of credit for the type of ambition it has, but no save function, no passwords, and the death traps are cool. But on the 5th death trap, you're just done. Like you're just done at that point if you even make it that far.
Yeah, I think for what it is and what it came out on, it's like, wow, you guys get this to actually work. That's impressive. And I thought the writing was actually pretty clever. Like it reminded me of the other like LucasArts adventure games of the time. I know that it was not the same company. Yeah, it reminded me of that. So I liked that about it.
Yeah, that no save feature is probably why that YouTube person was able to do it in an hour. Is that you have so much repetition every time you play, you get a little further in the game.
Right. So I want to rate this game based on ambition. Also, let's keep in mind, people, that this is Nightshade Chapter 1. Yep. And it's also Chapter 1 of 1 as well. So that was it after that.
Yeah, they never made any sequels, but there were plans that I did see that. Like it was called Chapter 1 because they thought it was going to be the start of a series. Again, so why are you starting it on the system that's going to be dead in a few months? Start it on the Super Nintendo. I guarantee this thing would have been as popular as like Pilot Wings. Maybe a little less so. As popular as ActRaiser. That's a good early Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I think if it had come out on the SNES, it would have been something we remembered and knew about. Like, oh yeah, so and so had that. I borrowed it. Like, I definitely agree.
Would it run better? Look
But
better?
it's not like they learned from it because like over a decade later, you see like DS games that should have been on 3DS or something. You know, like
Yeah.
You see that. So yeah, perhaps this is a missed opportunity. I was half hoping Momo was going to be here this week because this game was made in Australia. Beam Software, formerly
That's cool.
Chrome Studios Melbourne.
All right,
it's
that's
kinda
cool. No, I mean, for ambition, yeah, it's impressive, I think.
So
you were saying where you were ranking it, Harrison, and I interrupted like a fool.
So I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna put it in kind of in the bottom, kind of in the middle. So we just did Golden Axe. You know what? I'm gonna put it number 20. I'm gonna put this game number 20 between Sword of Vermilion and Golden Axe because I just want to give it respect. You know, like now I did upon trying to research this game and not finding anything, I did find a few content creators, a few that I like as well, that actually really love this game. So clearly it had some following.
Yeah, I definitely think it had a cult following, if nothing else.
So we're starting to get enough volume here for my list to have borders. And I think it goes from the top. The top are obviously games I love. Then we got games I like. And then the next border is games I'm probably going to try again at some point. And then the bottom is games I'm probably never going to play again. And this straddles that line. I think I might try this again. I'm not as sure as I was of Sword of Vermilion, which is in that category as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it right below Sword of Vermilion because it's around that level. I know I'm going to try Sword of Vermilion again. That I liked. This, I'm like, I might try it again. And then the next game down is Dynamite Heady, which I'm not going to try again.
Yeah, so I put it at number 25, which puts it under Kung Fu Heroes and above the Ignition Factor. The Ignition Factor is like my line of stuff I won't play again. So this is like the beginning of something I would probably try again down the road. Sword of Vermilion still seems like it had a little more going on. So there's better odds of me going back to that, but I wouldn't be opposed, especially now that I know it takes an hour if you know what you're doing, to jumping back into this.
Just gotta do the right clicking. I will say though, I feel like Maniac Mansion had a little bit more charm to it. It had, you know, the famous gerbil in the microwave and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was more humor based, and that whole team was.
And then those eventually grew into like the Monkey Island games, and you got the one that you and I liked, Sean, but I don't see many people talk about, Full Throttle.
Oh yeah,
really
Full
good
Throttle, one. Day of the Tentacle, which is the sequel of Maniac Mansion. Yeah, no, I think that was just a better team on the writing end who really knew how to focus the humor and that type of game. But no,
I had a Wishbone game that played that way. It was Wishbone's The Odyssey. You remember the PBS? He was on PBS, right?
I think it was
a dog
yes,
that read
yeah.
books. Yeah.
You solved mysteries.
But anyway,
you solved mysteries.
Let's find out.
Game?
No, it was retelling the Odyssey. So it was like Wishbone's version of the Odyssey. And I remembered I would always get stuck at the part where the ship, you don't crash a ship, but whatever, when he was shipwrecked on the island, I would always get stuck on that part. It was because I never realized there was a piece of hay you could click on.
It's fair.
But anyway, let's see what we're playing next
new
week.
Games.
Quest for Camelot.
They are in there, I promise, but it didn't pick them.
Oh, good.
It actually picked one that I don't know. This is one of those ones where it's like, what is there to say that hasn't already been said? It is a big one. We're going to have to make sure Momo is here because he keeps talking about it. We're talking about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time next week.
Ooh, maybe I'll actually try this week.
That is a hefty, good thing. I'm sure we've all played through it in our lives because that's not one you can just do in a week.
Wait. So, assuming we have a Nintendo Direct next week, we're doing Nintendo Direct and Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, it's madness.
No, if we do, if we have the Direct, we've done it once or twice before. We'll push the discussion of Ocarina of Time to the next episode, but we don't have the Direct confirmed.
It's our podcast. We can do whatever.
I can't remember what. There was one that we pushed, and I think it was because of the Nintendo Direct. I think
it was.
Yeah, so that'll be our policy from now on.
I'm just curious, like, Kevin, do you even need to play the game ever again?
You know, it'll come up next week when we're talking about it, but I think I have played it so much that I've drained all of the nostalgia out of it, and now I can kind of see it with a critical eye, which that's kind of been like the last like year or two, me thinking about this game is I can see its flaws now, which there was a time that wasn't the case.
It plays different on Switch, I think.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
well, just in general,
yeah.
like I feel like the controls for most of these N64 games feel a little bit different, a little bit off on Switch. And
so that throwback. This was a game that was on when we did that segment of games you've bought the most. This was on that segment. I bought this game on Nintendo 64. I had it on GameCube. I had it on Wii. I had it on Wii U. Now I have it on my Switch, and I have it on my 3DS.
This will be another game that when we go to record next week, I'll see on Reddit that the N64 controllers are in stock again for 2 seconds.
I almost want to talk more about the development of this game because that's a fascinating. I could talk for a full hour about it's all out on YouTube and stuff. They've found so many fascinating things about the development period. I'll pick
I'm
the good stuff.
I'm gonna make it a point because I've probably played through it the least of the four of us to really attempt to beat it this week again, so that I can really just be like, all right, here's what I like, here's what I don't like. I don't think it's the greatest Zelda of all time. So
Oh yeah, people who think that are looking through nostalgia goggles. Spoiler alert for next week, but it is not the best Zelda game. I get your tomatoes ready to throw. Wouldn't even put it in my top 5 Zelda.
wow,
That's right.
no, I wouldn't
said
either.
it. Franchises evolve, people. They evolve. And it sounds like we're out of things to say. Is that true? Okay. So
Yeah,
as always,
I'm just looking at the list because no one's gonna be happy where I rank it. But anyway,
wait till they hear where you put Mario 64. As always, keep in mind that we are Nintendo fans, not Nintendo experts. So if you'd like to send us any corrections on anything we said today, or if you would like to let us know anything about the news stories we read, or tell us what you think of Ocarina of Time, I highly doubt you have thoughts on Nightshade, was it? I already forgot.
Nightshade, yes,
Yeah, Nightshade. If
Nightshade
you have
Chapter 1.
if you like Nightshade, if you like Ocarina of Time, let us know. Our email is nintendotherapypod@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on Spotify now. We also have Reddit, and we're a Nintendo Therapy group on there, and we have at Nintendo Therapy on X, which used to be Twitter, but I am trying to use those social medias a lot less these days because we're a podcast and we're not influencers. We're not trying to be a social media presence. We're just trying to be a podcast. So that's how we're doing things.
We got Nintendo Therapy here. See, no one cares.
So I'm actually checking the email right now, but yeah, it's kind of full. Is this sorry, Francis? Yeah. So anyway, I'm rambling here. The episode's over. We'll see you next week. Here's some game over sounds from something.